In the third episode of Island, Byeogji tells Byeogji a story about a spirit named Byeogji who gives strength to humans in exchange for payment. Byeogji wonders if the spirit still exists and Byeogji confirms that it does. The episode then focuses on Miho, who is feeling cheerful thanks to a good night's sleep with Ban. Butler Jang reminds her that she has to start working at a school that day and she becomes upset. She asks Butler Jang to prepare a room for Ban at the mansion and, although initially skeptical, he agrees once he meets the demon hunter. Instead of driving her to work, Ban sits in the back seat while Miho drives because he doesn't know how to drive. When they arrive at Tamra High School, Miho tells the principal that Ban will be acting as her bodyguard. In the teacher's room, Ban and Miho have a disagreement where Ban asks her to stop giving him orders. Later, while Miho is teaching a class, her students start asking her personal questions and she becomes angry, threatening to mark them all absent. Byeogji stands up and leaves the class without fear of punishment, surprising Miho. While on her way back, Byeogji meets her friend Soo-ryan, who is crying in her room. Soo-ryan has been badly beaten by her boyfriend, Jae-young-jun. Byeogji gets angry and tells Soo-ryan to break up with him. A flashback shows that Jae-young-jun, who is known for beating people up to teach them a lesson, became violent with Soo-ryan when he found out she was recording their conversation to use as evidence against him. He beat her up in a karaoke room while holding a microphone. Byeogji asks Soo-ryan if there is any remaining evidence of the attack, but Jae-young-jun has also sent Soo-ryan explicit pictures he took of her, threatening to expose them online if she goes to the police. Soo-ryan is worried about the pictures being shared and ignores Byeogji's suggestions to report Jae-young-jun to the authorities. Jae-young-jun calls Soo-ryan to check if anyone is with her, and she lies to him, eventually asking Byeogji to leave when Jae-young-jun sends her something else to threaten her. The next day, Byeogji talks to Miho, who is now the school's guidance counselor, about Soo-ryan's situation and says there is not enough evidence to report Jae-young-jun to the police. Byeogji hopes that Miho will be able to use her powers to assist them, but the teacher dismisses the suggestion, telling Byeogji to contact the police instead. Meanwhile, Butler Jang visits Byeogji's diner and talks to her about Miho, also known as Wonjong from years ago. Byeogji recognizes Butler Jang as a young priest from the ancient Jeju era who had witnessed Ban fighting as a demon slayer. Butler Jang is concerned that Ban may harm Miho again, as he did in the past when she was Wonjong. Byeogji asks Butler Jang to trust Ban, as he himself is guilty of hurting Miho in the past. Butler Jang is somewhat reassured after speaking with Byeogji. Later that night, Miho continues to try and persuade Ban to work for her, offering him a suitcase full of money and new clothes. She becomes excited when she thinks she has successfully enticed him with the offer. Butler Jang tries to get Ban to stay in her room and protect Miho, but the demon slayer refuses and leaves. Soo-ryan becomes overwhelmed by threatening texts and photos from Jae-young-jun and considers attempting suicide, but recalls Byeogji's story about the Byeogji from earlier. Byeogji had told Soo-ryan to summon the spirit in order to gain strength to fight Jae-young-jun. Soo-ryan performs the summoning ritual, surprising Byeogji and Ban, who sense that something sinister is happening. Meanwhile, Miho meets Father Giovanni in the woods as she is learning how to fight demons. Butler Jang introduces Giovanni as Johan, his nephew. Miho and Johan have a chaotic conversation, with Miho stopping Johan from being too informal with her and Johan joking about Miho's online popularity due to her scandals. Both Miho and Johan are drunk on wine when Miho starts complaining about Ban not being there to protect her from any potential demon attacks. Suddenly, Ban appears, and Miho continues to speak incoherently at him while Johan watches. After Butler Jang puts Miho to bed, Johan asks him about Ban and learns more about the demon slayer. Johan meets Ban and jokes about his age, appearance, and outfit. Ban warns Johan to stay away from demon hunters, but Johan seems excited after the encounter. The following morning, Miho wakes up with a hangover and sees Johan praying by his bed. She is surprised to realize that she had ranted about ghosts to an actual priest. Yohan continues to make fun of her as she gets dressed for work. Ban is already in the car when Miho gets in to go to work, and Yohan joins them as well, saying he wants to kill time. Miho is still in charge of driving, and she takes the two men to work. Suddenly, Ban asks her to stop the car and runs off into the forest, leaving her alone with Yohan. Yohan promises to help Miho with his faith and hope in case they face danger, leading to another chaotic interaction between them. On their way to school, Miho runs into Sujin and introduces her to Yohan. As they drive by, Youngji appears in front of Miho's car and asks the teacher for help. She tells Miho and Yohan that Suryan was possessed by Benjol and explains that the spirit is known to help people in need. Yohan agrees to follow them and changes into his priest robes before Youngji takes him and Miho to Suryan's house. When they arrive, they find Suryan's mother at the door. Meanwhile, Ban notices that the mountain structure he had made with demon stones has collapsed and new insects are emerging from the pit below it. Suryan's mother invites Miho and Yohan inside, and Yohan asks her to stay back while they try to speak with Suryan. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Yohan scares an already fearful Miho before going into Suryan's room. Inside the room, Miho tries to wake Suryan up, but the spirit causes her to have a seizure. Yohan starts the exorcism and asks Miho to tie the girl up. The spirit does not leave Suryan, but instead says, "I got you." Both Yohan and Miho are shocked as insects can be seen under Suryan's bed. Yohan and Miho are no longer in the room, but in the forest, while Ban encounters a familiar face in the woods. Thanks for watching the recap of Island Drama Episode 3. If you liked this recap, make sure to watch other drama recaps also. Until then, stay safe, stay otaku.